The name of this movie is very special, called Tiger Dubu. He deliberately removed the old saying that we are all familiar with, the last two words of the tiger alone. The void left by this is like a silent question. What kind of desperate situation is it? Can force a mother kill your own most primitive book with your own hands? Before the story begins, I must cruelly tell you, ending because the young mother was on a calm morning. Holding her 6-month-old daughter, she walked towards the cold river. I don't want to scare you with this ending. Instead, I would like to ask you to walk into the world of the protagonist Shu Zhen with me with this question. See how she went from baking with hope for the future, step by step, becoming a soulless mother, eventually going to the one we can't accept. This seems to be an understandable tragedy. The story began at 4:30 a.m. when he was sitting in the room next to his bed. The only sound is the regular sound of the breast pump. He had to suck the milk out while the child was asleep, save the first sound of the alarm clock. He almost reflexively turned off, for fear of waking up the husband next to him, who just turned over and continued to sleep. For those who have never experienced feeding children, I have to explain a little. It is not just about getting up in the middle of the night to feed. In the first months, mom is almost a plug-in tool for the child. Feed every 2 or 3 hours. Authors use a breast pump like Shu Zhen to suck out the milk. Otherwise, the milk will be poisoned, and the pain is comparable to torture. So when Shu Zhen's husband spends every night peacefully in his dreams, Shu Zhen's body and spirit have long been torn apart. He handed his daughter over to his mother-in-law and hurried to work. He was a baker at a bakery. This job was his only refuge in a life of chicken feathers. When his hands kneaded the warm dough, he could feel that he was still Shu Zhen. Instead of the kissing mother who is on standby 24 hours a day, this brief respite was quickly shattered by the slap of reality. First, the slap comes from society. There is no mother and baby room, so he can only hide in the utility room to suck milk. But the man bumped into him at the same time, like a thief who was caught as a thief. In the end, he could only hide in the public toilet of the 7 people, in a dirty environment. Prepare the purest rations for your daughter. The dignity of a mother. At this moment, he was trampled to pieces. Second, the slap comes from the family. He came home from work. The mother-in-law complained that the child was difficult to bring, even went to ask for a talisman. Bathe their child with ash. What broke her down even more was that she found herself getting up in the middle of the night and dropping the breast milk she had saved. It was all poured into the sewer by my mother-in-law. The reason is that the child can't finish drinking. It means that the quality of the milk is not good. She sent a message to her husband for help. But the phone screen lights up. Just waited for a few perfunctory emoticons and a sentence to socialize tonight. Returning to this emoticon later made her feel more chilled than her mother-in-law's Daoist breast milk. Dao is ignorant, but the emoji is wet and indifferent because she saw you asking for help but chose to slide over. Soon the child's physical examination doctor said that he was a little malnourished. The mother-in-law seemed to have grabbed a lifesaver. In front of the doctor loudly accused, "It is all Shu Zhen's fault for insisting on breastfeeding. Let her burn the bread while she worked." When I got home, I found that my mother-in-law fell down again. Her breast milk immediately broke out in a quarrel.
The mother-in-law stopped doing it after the first period.
When the husband returned home, instead of mediating, instead he said to Shu Zhen,
"Listen to what he didn't say. Let's figure it out together," he said. "You go and admit your mistake in this family. Contradictions are always the affairs of the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, and he is always the most innocent bystander."